All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful way of thinking about mental health called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short. And it's a pretty different way of looking at how we handle all the tough thoughts and feelings that life throws at us.
This conversation here, and wow, it's taken right from a therapist's manual for veterans. It just gets to the heart of something we all go through, right? We have pain, anxiety, bad memories, you name it, and our gut reaction is to do whatever it takes to make it disappear. But what if that's the exact wrong approach?
You see, this instinct to declare war on our own feelings, it often traps us in a battle we can never actually win. It's just a constant, exhausting struggle.
So there's actually a clinical name for this whole struggle: experiential avoidance. It's totally natural. It's our brain's way of trying to protect us from pain. The problem is when we try to use that strategy on our own inner world, it almost always backfires and just ends up causing more problems down the line.
To really get this, ACT uses this amazing metaphor. Just picture this. You are in a desperate, life-or-death tug-of-war with a huge, ugly monster. And this monster, you ask? Well, it's basically all that stuff inside you that you just don't want. It's your anxiety, your sadness, those nagging thoughts that tell you you're not good enough, the whole shebang, all rolled into this big monster pulling on the other end of the rope.
And to make things worse, the stakes feel insanely high. Right between you and the monster is a bottomless pit. If you lose, you're convinced you'll fall in and be completely destroyed. So what do? You pull for your life.
But here's the crazy part. The harder you pull, the stronger the monster seems to get. It pulls right back, just as hard. You are pouring every ounce of energy you have into this fight, you're totally exhausted, and your entire life has shrunk down to this one single struggle. You can't play with your kids, you can't focus on your work, you can't enjoy anything because both of your hands are just clamped onto that rope.
And this brings us to the question that changes absolutely everything. What if winning the tug of war was never the point? What if there's another way out?
This is where ACT comes in with a totally radical and, honestly, a pretty counterintuitive solution. Instead of pulling harder, it tells you to change the game completely.
Just drop the rope. Now notice what happens. The monster? Oh, he's still there. He hasn't vanished, but the struggle is over. You're no longer locked in that endless battle. Your hands are free. All that energy is yours again. And now you can actually turn around and start walking in the direction of the life you want to live.
Okay, so this is a really crucial point. A lot of us have heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. In CBT, the goal is often to reduce your symptoms by challenging and changing your negative thoughts. ACT has a totally different goal: psychological flexibility. It's not about changing your thoughts. It's about changing your relationship with them.
So what is this psychological flexibility thing? Well, in simple terms, it's the ability to drop the rope and still get on with your life. It means you can have anxiety show up or a painful memory pop into your head, and you can still choose to do things that are important to you, things that move you toward what you truly care about.
So you're probably wondering, okay, great, but how do I actually do that? Well, ACT gives us a kind of toolkit. It has 6 core skills that all work together to help us learn how to drop the rope and get back into our lives.
This whole model is often called the hexaflex. Looks kind of complex, right? But to make it a lot easier, we can just group these 6 skills into 3 simple pairs.
The first pair, acceptance and defusion, is all about letting go. This is the core of dropping the rope. Acceptance doesn't mean you have to like your pain or approve of it. It just means you stop fighting it and make a little room for it. The other half of this, defusion. Now this is a real game changer.
Diffusion is all about getting unhooked from your thoughts. Think of it this way. Hold your hands right up against your face, palms in. You can't see anything else, can you? That's you being fused with your thoughts. Diffusion is the simple act of just lowering your hands. The thoughts are still there, just like your hands are, but now you've created some space. You can see the world around you again and decide what to do next.
Okay, the next pair of skills is about showing up. First, this means being present. Mindfulness. Tuning into your senses right here, right now, instead of being lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. And it also involves what's called self as context. This is the wild idea that you are not your thoughts or your feelings. You're the sky, and your thoughts and feelings are just the weather passing through. You're the chessboard, not the pieces. That perspective is incredibly powerful.
And the last piece of the puzzle is all about getting moving.
Because once you've freed up all that energy by letting go and showing up, you need to know where to point it. That's where values come in. They're your personal compass. And committed action is just about taking actual steps in that direction, even if some of those difficult thoughts and feelings tag along for the ride.
Yeah, and I want to be really clear here. Dropping the rope isn't about giving up. Not at all. It's about freeing yourself up so you can actively and purposefully build a life that actually means something to you. And that's where your values are everything.
So what are we talking about when we say values? They're not goals that you can check off a list. They're your chosen directions in life. They're about the kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be someone who is kind, creative, honest? Someone who values family or personal growth? Those are your values.
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think about it. You can never actually arrive at a final destination called West. It's not a place, it's a direction. But it gives you a constant guide for your journey. Goals, on the other hand, are the specific stops along the way, like deciding you're going to visit a city on your westward trip. Your values guide the entire journey of your life.
Okay, this all sounds really good in theory, but you might be thinking, does it actually work? Let's take a quick look at the science, because ACT is a therapy with a ton of research behind it. So this number here comes from what's called a meta-analysis. That's basically a study of other studies, so it gives you the big picture. And when researchers compared ACT directly with traditional CBT, they found this effect size. A value of 0.40, like you see here, means that on average, ACT had a solid, moderately positive edge in helping people with whatever problem they were facing.
Let's just break down the key differences one last time. With traditional CBT, the main goal is to reduce symptoms by challenging your thoughts. With ACT, the goal is to increase your flexibility by simply observing your thoughts without getting tangled up in them. Even when you face your fears, which both therapies do, the reason is different. In CBT, it's to get used to it so your anxiety goes down. In ACT, it's to prove to yourself that you can tolerate anxiety while doing something that truly matters to you.
And all of this brings us to the final, most important question in ACT. It's a question you can ask yourself right now. It boils everything we've talked about down to a single choice. Are you willing to have your pain, to stop the fight, to let it be there, and use all that energy you get back to build a life that you actually want to live?